Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to the Pain Clinic for June 13th. Yeah, we took a week off and we're back. So, you can't get rid of us. But hey, we got to talk about a lot of stuff today. It's June 13th, and man, there's some crazy holidays today. In fact, holidays today are National Weed Your Garden Day, Pigeon Appreciation Day. There's one for Bert, from Sesame Street, and Sewing Machine Day. Birthdays today, there's a couple. Jacques Rougeau is 65 today. Headbanger Thrash is 57. Virgil would have been 75 today. He passed away in 2024. And my youngest, Nicole, is birthdays today. I won't give out the age. I believe it's 33. I know. But hey, happy birthday to all yous. Hey, interested in roller derby? You want to be a skater? Officiate Rock City Roller Derby needs you. Contact recruitment at rockderbyrecruitment@gmail.com and join Rock City Roller Derby. I am your humble host, the Cashman. I am joined by DC Dan Cole. DC, how are you today?
Morning, Cash. Surviving the heat down here.
Oh, yes, it is. It is a bit warm up here too, as well. You might hear the fan moving in the background, even though I have AC. I just saw my bill. It's like I'm going to go with the fan for a while. We're also joined by Rob Sanderson, Parts Unknown Rochester. Rob, how are you doing today?
Good morning. Yeah, my connection froze up, but I heard the mention of Jacques Rougeau, who I just a few hours ago before going to sleep, I was hearing all sorts of drama related to him. Unfortunately, people are all mad at him again, um, up in Gatineau. But shout out to the Mountie. He's always been a nice person to me. One
Yeah.
half of my favorite tag team of all time.
Oh,
So.
good Lord. I have no idea what you're talking about, but
No, just he got involved in an indie company. Then I don't know, there was just like, it just seems like a financial thing or whatever. But people are all the company split with him, and stuff, and
oh, yeah.
it just brought back up all of the previous things where like Kevin Owens doesn't like him and LuFisto doesn't like him and all these people and stuff when they've all got valid reasons on that stuff with their training stuff, old school mentality kind of things, whatever. But
Yeah. So, well, Jacques Rougeau. I was going to call him
Jacques
Cousteau.
Cousteau.
Yeah. 20,000 leagues under the sea. No, well, it's his birthday today, so hopefully he can find some happiness in there. He is obviously, I think he's a WWE Hall of Famer. I believe he is. If not, he should be. There's a few people. It's funny. Before I get into anything, I was doing some research and someone posted a story on about something that Taz was doing, and they said WWE Hall of Famer Taz, and it's like, when did that happen? I don't ever remember Taz going in the Hall of Fame, so I had to do some research. So I got sidetracked for about 20 minutes, and Taz is not in the WWE Hall of Fame. Someone, I gotta get your facts straight, folks. But yeah, I thought that was.
Jacques is not either.
Oh,
So,
really?
not yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's always like I said, there's a lot of people that you kind of rub the wrong way or whatever. There's lots of you can, I mean, YouTube it and find podcast clips of people just, I don't know, not liking him, putting himself over, this and that, whatever. Like way back in the day, there used to be kind of this old, I think it was like a Gagne thing, but in terms of like, oh, I trained you, so you have to sign away like 15% of your future earnings to me as your trainer, kind of thing, which doesn't hold up and isn't the case at this point or whatever. But he did, have a hand in training a lot of people. But I think it's just some like selfish aspects or whatever that's is kind of with that like a lot of people in WWE just, I don't know. He hasn't really done anything with them in a very long time. I'd love to see. I mean, between the Mountie or the Quebecers or the Fabulous Rougeaus, like the element, him and his brother could go in. Like, there's so many different possibilities, but maybe someday. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we can always hold out hope, but I will say that's not the first time I've ever heard about a legend or asking for a percentage of people's money. when
Mhm.
when they get signed to a big contract.
Fabulous Moolah.
I believe Brody Lee was telling me about saw a story about that at one time, many years ago. And it's like it's kind of funny. Yeah, Mula, yeah, definitely was like that. That was kind of like you had to sign a contract with Mula to train with her, and then
Yeah.
the only time she would remember it was when you've had some success, And it's like,
If
okay,
you were training people for free and could get them to sign something like that, maybe that could be justified or whatever. When people are paying to go to wrestling school, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah, it's definitely crazy. So, it's his birthday. Hopefully, he'll find some happiness out there. I'm sure he will.
I
Uh,
specifically remember one time standing near like the merch table area at the arena in Watertown, and I said something about the Quebecers, and Kevin Steen looked over and he just said something brief. I don't remember the exact wording, but he was not happy at the mention at all.
oh,
So,
jeez.
like, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this past week, but his wife took a little offense to a WWE announcer
Yeah.
talking about his son because she was diagnosed. I didn't put it in the news, but I didn't feel like it was necessary to put it in there. But she had it was a Kathy Kelly that was diagnosed with being autistic, and then she compared herself to Kevin Owens' oldest son, which nobody really knew anything about. And Kevin Owens' wife kind of like lost her stuff and said, which yeah. So I miss Kevin Owens. I so wish he would be back. I know he's been on that show LFG this past season, but but hey, we're here to talk world of pro wrestling. We kind of got into it. Before we get too far, I do want to remind folks, if you're in Rochester, we got roller derby today, 4 to probably 8 or 9, 2 teams. Pittsburgh team coming to Rochester with their A's and B's, and they'll be playing Rochester's, rock stars as well as their B sides. And I'll be talking the whole time. So yay! No, but that will be today at 4 o'clock at the Dome. If you want to check it out, I want to get it out before I forget. But some other things we want to talk about. I don't want to talk any more about that. Was Forbidden Door. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow. It is coming. I want to talk. I know we took last week's off, so I want to talk a little bit about the Clash in Italy results that happened 2 weeks ago. I want to get your guys' thoughts on El Grande Americano and what happened with the whole mask versus mask thing. And then New Japan was purchased this past week or 2 weeks ago, and maybe I get some inside thoughts on that. But I did want to throw that stuff out there before we get, and then let's talk hockey for 1 second. Rob, what do you think? Carolina, it's like going back and forth. I was in Canada watching a couple of those games, and man, that was sweet. I was up in Canada doing playoff announcing for WFTDA, which is the governing body of women's roller derby. And I had a lot of time at night, so I was watching that and basketball. But what do you think about? You found a team to root for yet between Vegas and Carolina Hurricanes?
Yes. I mean, rooting for is a strong term. Hating on less, I guess, would probably be the better way to go about it. But it is the team that has a chance to win tomorrow. I guess from the different potentials, this is a good place to be in right now, the way the series has gone. I just, more than anything, I really did not expect this series to be this good. I mean, that last game on Thursday was probably the weakest game of the series so far, but still very entertaining.
Yeah, well, certainly
It's been
nobody
an
was up.
awesome series.
Nobody was up 4-0, and then I don't know, like lost that 4-score lead. So yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree. So
it's been an all-time series. And I just did not expect that at all. So, that being said, I want Carolina to win at this point. God, it feels so weird and dirty to say, but I don't want them to win in 6. I want them to win in 7. Give me triple overtime on well, that would be Wednesday night. Would be a game 7, but yeah, it's been a really, really fun
Artiste
series.
wants to hear the 2 best words in sports. Game 7.
Game 7.
Game
Well,
7.
I know one thing. I don't want it to go into triple overtime. I have a hard enough time getting to work in the morning, with these games starting so late, but
Try being in close proximity to all this madness.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy down here right now.
It's got to be. I mean, what a series. I'm hoping that they're getting America's eyes. I hope that people, because it wouldn't hurt to have a nice shot in the arm for hockey to have a freaking great finals. And so far, just I think the presentation on TV has been fantastic. I think, they're talking with the players seconds after, like the period ends. And I think they're getting, it's just, I'm enjoying everything that's going on in the series. I hate 20-minute period breaks, and I hate how late it's going, but
I can't stand when you get to 8:22 Eastern and we still haven't dropped the puck for a quote unquote 8 o'clock game. The only thing worse than that is when you're calling a game and they don't tell you that it's going to start that late. And so you're just filling time and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And 22 minutes can be a very long time to just fill time that you're not expecting to. So, I mean, it's been, there's obviously superstars, but there's been so many storylines. There's been so many great comebacks. There's been games where I thought about like, all right, I don't really have to like pay 100% attention the rest of this game or whatever, and that was wrong because it immediately turns around and stuff. So, I mean, it's I wish Game 6 was tonight, to be honest. But looking forward to seeing how this wraps up.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This and the NBA finals have been on fire as well. We've got the New York Knicks with one game away from winning the championship, coming back from a 29-point deficit the other day to having a 1-point win to taking a 3-2 lead going into San Antonio. Man, it's sports are really good right now for championship series. I mean, I'm biased. We're in New York, I got to root for the Knicks, for the longest time, basketball so lost me as a fan because of
Don't feel bad, Cash. Once the Sabres exited, I had to root for Carolina.
Well, I have friends who live in Raleigh, and they've been rooting for Carolina.
Just for reference as to how crazy it is down here, they're doing another watch party at the Lenovo Center, which sold out in an hour.
Wow.
They're having a party where they're expecting 10,000 people outside the stadium. They've opened an amphitheater in downtown Raleigh for another viewing party. And now there's currently a petition out there to get the Hurricanes and NC State to open up Carter Finley Stadium, which seats 56,000.
I was literally just going to ask about that with that stadium being right there.
Yeah.
If they were going to, I've been
it's being pushed
rink.
For.
Yeah, I've been in that rink many times, but I've never actually been inside the football stadium to know if like the video board is good enough or whatever. But props to that. I mean, in terms of the New York thing, I mean, I guess like technically speaking, I've lived closer to the Spurs than I've ever lived to Madison Square Garden. I guess when I lived in Philly, that was close, but you're not going to root for the Knicks if you live in Philly. I'm not an NBA guy. It's cool to see the crazy attention it's getting. I did watch a few minutes of a game the other night and stuff, but it's definitely a very fun sports time of the year, including that game between the Yankees and the Blue Jays last night. I'm just saying.
Oh, that was a good game. The Yankees came back a little bit in, and then we got the World Cup starting yesterday. U.S. winning over Paraguay. When I went up to Waterloo, Ontario, the whole way up, there was like video boards on the highway warning us about traffic for the World Cup and make sure you get places early and beware the airport. And I mean, these were like giant video boards hanging out over the main roads, which was just amazing. I didn't realize how close it was to the World Cup time, but man, it is going. And last night, we had a whole bunch of games. It's a super exciting time of year. If you like any of major sports, really, except for ones that aren't playing right now, like football. But then again, football also is having its
CFL's back. I've already been disappointed by the Ticats once, and we're still in mid-June. So
yeah, they were playing, and I went by the stadium. I'm pretty sure when I was driving there. Yeah, they. I think pretty sure I know it was on TV because I was watching it in the hotel as well. They have,
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they blew that in overtime. Yep. Sure did.
yeah. There's so
Life as
there,
a sports fan of all of my favorite teams, but yeah. Yeah.
There was a CFL game on at the same time as the hockey game Thursday night, and I can't tell you how irrationally upset I got seeing a 55-yard line.
I like when they kick the ball into the end zone, and if they get it there, if they punch it into the end zone, they can get 1 point. It's like what? What? Okay,
You know what that's called?
what's that called?
A rouge in honor of Jacques Rougeau. Not
There we
really,
go.
but yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then there's, you tune into your first CFL game and you're just like, where the hell is the fourth down? When are we going to have a fourth down? And you'll still be waiting. So
I'm always questioning why are there two guys in motion at the same time? Both of them running from being way back in the field to they hit that timing, they hit that line and they're both full speed. So it's a fun
if you're
sport.
somebody who likes offense, the CFL is awesome. So
If you
I
like
mean,
offense, then the NHL finals have been fun.
yes, yeah. And then you've got the very, very I can't wait to potentially learn more about why Frederick Anderson is not dressing as the backup for Carolina these last couple of games after starting the first few games in net. And now I can't remember a time ever seeing where a supposed healthy goalie who was the starter or at least was an equal, like part of the two in rotation, didn't start for 2 games. There's got to be more to this story. And every time that like Emily Kaplan asks Rod Brindamore on the bench, like, so Frederick Anderson not dressed or whatever, like, what's going on here? This is bizarre. Wouldn't you want your other the guy you trusted to start the Stanley Cup final? Wouldn't you want him to at least be available as a backup, as opposed to having him watch from, I don't know, the locker room or wherever he is?
Yeah, he's got to be there someplace, but he's just not dressed. And yeah, it's funny. It's like been a mystery
Something
for the last
weird.
couple. Yeah, it's been definitely been a mystery. They definitely.
We should just consider ourselves to be lucky to be alive in a day and age where it's acceptable to walk around wearing a jersey that says Bussy on it.
Yeah, it is entertaining. Well, small victories like that, because we also live during an era and a timeline of a lot of other stuff going on, including this weekend. So
UFC at the White House. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I spent many an hour yesterday watching a live stream of nothing happening.
I love that. I keep finding out more and more people did that. I did as well. I just had it in the background while I was working on graphics or whatever, like, and then they had to freaking cover it up and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of cover up these days too. So
yeah, interesting. So before we get into like the topics I laid down, I do want to mention
We talk about wrestling on the show, right?
I think so.
Okay.
when we were talking about a WWE Hall of Famer there, the fact that he's in and Jacques Rougeau isn't pisses me off right now. So
there's a few people who are in, and that, I'm usually shocked. I had to do my research on Taz. No, he wasn't. So, so when I was up in Canada, I did, like I said, I was doing the playoff call for roller derby, and I met a lady named Shady Hawkins, who is co-owner of VIP Wrestling in Texas. I, of course, immediately started texting Rob and the whole group and see if you had heard of VIP. And apparently Maya World is from there, which, yeah. So, and I didn't know, and she
timely.
She was telling me that they have a great relationship with AEW, with booking people from AEW on their shows and stuff. But it was really interesting to hear about, the independents down there. And I said, well, my friend did announcing for Wrestle Circus. Oh, Wrestle Circus. And then we just got going. And so maybe she's watching right now. Maybe she's watching.
I mean, that was a tough, like when I lived down there, like that was still, Dallas Fort Worth was still on a good traffic day, a good 7.5 hours away. So it wasn't, maybe there's some crazy Texans that think that's a day trip. I only made that a day trip a couple of times. So I didn't really get to go to too many wrestling shows up there in like North Texas, but VIP's always had a good name on stuff. And I think they work a little bit with, I mean, Athena's got her like school and school-ish or whatever, but runs her Was that M? Whatever her Fed is, I'm blanking on it right now, but she's got her indie down there that's like an all women's thing that Maya's been involved with and a bunch of others and stuff. And now I believe, so there's a very, very close association between Athena and Maya World, who now will face off this week
Yeah,
against each other. So that should
yeah.
be fun as well.
Yeah. So, and she also mentioned that even the WWE ID folks work down there for their group too.
Yeah.
And the WWE doesn't monitor that closely who they're, as much as we see nowadays, people getting canceled or bookings getting canceled because of two companies that can't get along, or one, I don't know. Sometimes it's two companies who can't get along, but
or someone who just doesn't know any better.
and they said the ID people can work with anybody. In fact, they've worked with AEW people before. So,
Did anybody happen to see a clip of the first entrance of last night's Wrestling Revolver show? I saw it was popping up on Twitter. An entrance from one Steve Macklin, as he was being introduced and walking to the ring, and yelled to the camera that I can say that word on a podcast. Yeah. He said to the camera, "I told that cuck I quit." So a big shot at Carlos Silva on that. Clearly Steve Macklin not happy with the TNA press release saying like basically that he was released.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When he asked for it, clearly. Yeah. And I didn't realize there was that much bad blood, but that was a very blatant shot.
Yeah. In fact, he immediately posted after they had posted he was released that he asked for his release. Basically, he quit. Yes. And I can't wait to see him in AEW because I have a feeling he may be coming in this direction very soon. Yeah, that was going to be.
He's a very, very well liked guy out on the wrestling scene. I've worked shows with Deanna. I don't know Steve at all, but I don't know exactly like how his wrestling style will mix at AEW. I think it'll be just fine, and be kind of some fresh blood to mix in there. But hopefully, I don't know. I mean, one of my biggest frustrations with AEW is the lack of Deonna Purrazzo on the main roster. So hopefully it would be a worthwhile thing if he does come in there.
And if you don't know, Deanna's married to Steve Macklin. So yeah, so he wants to go work with his wife, and hell, I think he would do great in WWE with his style. I have a feeling that probably is not the first option he wants right now. So he'd rather be working with his wife, which who wouldn't, So yeah.
Well, and they never gave him a main roster shot there when he was in NXT, I don't think. Bro. So I mean, but a lot has changed since those days. So
yeah, he had a really good push in TNA a long time ago, and then like that it was gone, unfortunately. And he so I mean, he had some good moments there in that company, that's for sure, and he actually got to be spotlighted in some main events. So, they'll find a way. Who knows? I don't think Don Callis has enough guys in his wrestling group. So,
yeah.
Seems
like
you're
the only one in the world that feels that way. Then
I kid though. It's like I was waiting for them to say something on the announcing crew when he was out there. It's like because you only got everybody, and now Kevin. So it's like,
and he's gonna buy a boat.
And he's going to buy a boat. Yeah. Yeah. And he gets $40 every time Andrade takes a picture with somebody in the front row, which I'm surprised. So yeah. So let me maybe
the soon coming Andrade babyface run is it's gonna slap, as the kids would say. I've really
on God.
Yeah.
This return to AEW, I don't think I expected to like what Andrade was doing quite this much. I don't know if I've cared a ton about his stuff since he was like the NXT champion days. But this is he's gonna get over like Rover. I mean, it's already starting. So if
you saw with him in Orange this past week, it was like
And
He was,
Leo, yeah.
yeah, he was playing along. You know, it was like it was fun. You know,
Kudos to Orange Cassidy for wrestling in 2 pairs of jeans.
nothing like
So
ripping
good.
your double stuff. That was probably the best, probably the funniest moment from this past week. It definitely freaking everyone popped. The announcers went nuts. I had figured they might have had a feeling, but that was yeah. I can't wait till Andrade. Well, you know, Andrade doesn't like seeing other people getting signed with championships or to his group, and I get that. I get
How
that.
you know?
Yeah, how you know? That's right. There's the new catchphrase too, folks. How you know?
How
So,
like that like such that simple 3 words is getting so ridiculously over. So yeah, shout out to Andrade. I don't know. I've enjoyed the little stuff he's been doing, the little details, and obviously he's a great wrestler. So hopefully they can truly capitalize on Takeshita splitting with the family, and then hopefully the same type of thing happens with Andrade soon.
yeah, Andrade completely booked 100% correct since coming back to the company. You know, even
Yeah.
that run in the beginning, which got put over some big names in the company. So, I think I'm excited for him. We'll see where it goes. You know, who knows? MJF's a
I,
little banged up right now, so you can't really go directly at that. But
I could totally see him getting that AEW belt though in the next couple of years. So
oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. So I did mention some things I wanted to talk about in the beginning of the show. Let's because it's been 2 weeks, let's talk about the New Japan Pro Wrestling purchase. Now we saw this purchase happen back at the very end of May. And it was to a stockholder already in New Japan. So it was really just like him buying more controlling stock in the company. Does that change anything with New Japan, Rob? Do you have any, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the numbers and stuff on it. I mean, $33 million to buy a company. I think that's what it was. That's how much stock they had to buy to get controlling interest. And it's like, which was like 4.8 billion yen, which looks like a lot better number. That's for sure. But it didn't seem like, I mean, obviously it was more than WCW, but do you think that'll change New Japan even because New Japan seems to have an exodus of talent as well, at least the last year or so, any thoughts?
yeah, I mean, New Japan has lost a lot of their star power, and kind of their steam in general. Now that like they went through and like Bushi Road like sold off what they had in that, but they've been kind of running things, owning things in kind of this last, I don't know, 10-15 years that New Japan has had some really, I mean, some of its best moments, some of its most popular shows and matches and stuff. And you would hope they try to find a way to continue that. But I mean, like I said, I mean, they certainly have lost a lot of their people, not, I mean, whether they've signed in the States or they've retired or whatever. It just doesn't really have, New Japan to me doesn't have the same feeling as it did. Probably like, I mean, thinking especially like 2017, 2018, those years. But I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know much about this new ownership group, and what they'd be willing to do. And they've got, I mean, knowledgeable wrestling people still running day to day kind of stuff. I would like to think that Tanahashi will be a good leader for them for years to come, but pretty sure Stardom was not part of that deal. So to see maybe less of an association between them and Stardom, I don't know if that's a great thing or not, but I don't know. I just don't. New Japan just doesn't have the same buzz that it had for so long, and I feel like that's absolutely the case also right now with the supposed forbidden door, like you mentioned, coming up in 2 weeks, and it just doesn't. I mean, it's more of a, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's forbidden at this point. It's more of a hesitant door or something like.
Screen door?
So, what's that?
Screen door?
The screen
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, exactly.
They really haven't announced any matches, beyond all the AEW folks taking on each other. So
Right.
yeah,
Pretty
it's
much Forbidden Door right now just means we get a Zack Sabre Jr. match.
yeah, Kenny
And
Omega.
I mean, getting him and Omega, like, I don't get me wrong, I'm very happy about that. As soon like I audibly went ooh when that popped up on Wednesday night, so I'm happy about that. But there still should be, I mean, like a 6-on-6 match with MJF and Briscoe and stuff. Like, what does that have to do with Forbidden Door? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good point because I think, I have a bad feeling it's not going to sell as well the other ones,
I don't know how
but
the pay-per-view numbers and stuff will do. The ticket sales aren't bad at this point. I think they were like before the Omega match was announced and stuff, they were already at like 6 or 7,000 for the Shark Tank in San Jose. I'm sure that's going to jump up. So I don't know if they'll hit like double or nothing numbers in terms of the tickets or whatever, but it is doing pretty well. I don't have enough faith yet that this is going to feel like a Forbidden Door. It really just feels like another AEW pay-per-view.
yeah. So, and that,
Well, I'll be up in New York for that if you fellas want to get together and defer the cost a little.
It might be out of the country then, but if not, we can discuss. So
yeah, we definitely can discuss. So, yeah, it's very, that paper, there's a couple of pay-per-views coming up. There's one for WWE as well. Night of Champions going to take place in Saudi Arabia. That's going to be 2 weeks from today, I believe. So,
what a great time to go back to Saudi Arabia. Jesus.
yeah, not
Beautiful time to visit the Middle East.
Ugh.
yeah, not really, but yeah,
Didn't Riyadh just get bombed or something? Like, I don't understand this. Like, at some point you gotta like care a little bit about like your workers and stuff.
yeah, that right now. Well, I do want to mention before I just want to briefly go over we weren't on last week, so we didn't get to talk about Clash in Italy. It was a 2:00 in the afternoon pay-per-view. WWE had anything that came out of it was, I don't know, it was the second back-to-back pay-per-views in which Jacob Fatu has lost to Roman Reigns. He's the reluctant member of the OTC or whatever they call it now. And he's still kind of a wild card. We'll see what happens. We had Sol Ruca, who, has been up for WWE for a cup of coffee so far, beating Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Brock Lesnar beating Obafemi. And after finishing the match, it's another epic long match, 6 minutes and 21 seconds. And Brock Lesnar, after it, says they're 1-1. So obviously they're setting up for something else, probably WrestleMania. Rhea Ripley defeated Jade Cargill for the WWE's Women's Championship. And then Cody Rhodes beat Gunther, and Gunther's leg was on the rope. The referee didn't see it, counted 3, and that's how it ended. And so now Cody Rhodes comes back. They've been in Europe this past 2 weeks. And so Monday Night Raws have been in the afternoon. And it's like, if you have a job, which obviously this is prime jobless time. If you have, first of all, Netflix, and 2, don't have to go to work, or you work nights, or you work overnights, you can watch the 2:00 in the afternoon Raw the last 2 weeks. Thank God they're back in America. So back to regular times. But last Monday was the last Monday Night Raw. It started at 2. I get home 4:30, and I got to watch the last 3 minutes of the last match, and it ended. So they, like, last night they were back there in Rhode Island for SmackDown, back in America. Had a lot of same people wrestle on both shows, the last Raw and SmackDown. There is seriously a creative void right now in WWE. They are going through the King of the Ring tournament. The finals will be at the pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. So, which is interesting because they'll have the king and the queen of the ring there. So, that's my recap very quickly of talking about Clash in Italy. I rewatched most of this stuff even when I didn't catch it live, and I don't know, I mean, still Danhausen seems to be, he was big last night on SmackDown. He as well. is still being sequestered to Kit Wilson and The Miz. And somehow his curse on The Miz makes The Miz only say his old catchphrases now. So that was awesome, by the way. But no, was it? I don't know. It looks like they're running out of steam even with Danhausen. I hope they've got a plan for him because I thought he was working on a giant tag team partner. And I don't know whatever happened to that whole storyline that they were doing. But
I saw the clip pop up and I appreciated the Danhausen's like, oh, Zach. He's like, it's Matt, whatever. With Cardona there. Then I got the Miz part. The Miz part was a little, I don't know, like I shouldn't be upset about something being like too cheesy if we're talking about Danhausen stuff.
yeah.
But it's, I don't know. They're definitely pushing the boundaries of like how far can you take this stuff? So,
Which is sad because they probably could, dabble in it for a while before pushing boundaries. And now they're starting. So that kind of scares me because it doesn't seem like Danhausen's going to be a regular wrestler with the company, maybe once every 3 pay-per-views or something like that. I mean, he can wrestle. It is true, but they like what he's doing, obviously, backstage, the interviews and the cursing. And, he apparently the Knicks have given him a lot of credit for where they are. So, but
Wait to see his balloon in the parade.
he can be a balloon in the parade. So that's right. That's where they're going right now. Did I say Clash? I meant Night of Champions, by the way. Which is, I don't know what's any different. Clash of Champions is something I think WCW did before. So, but that's another one that I think a lot of people, I think it'll be on in the middle of the morning when it's on. And you have 2 King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournaments. They're down to 4 players in each. We'll get to that when I get to the news. And we're going to have and by the way, Ricky Saints has been doing great since he's been called up to Raw and SmackDown. He was on both shows this past week. Like I said, I keep seeing the same guys being used on both shows. LA Knight on both shows. Ricky Saints on both shows. He was in one of the qualifiers for King of the Ring. So, as well as he now wants a shot at Trick Williams. Trick Williams is I think kind of catching on, but I don't really care. I don't want to see little kids dressed like him just because it's bizarre, wearing, I don't know, feathery jackets in the middle of summer and things like that. I don't know, but like I said, that's why a lot of people are saying that their creative is like hurting right now. And it doesn't surprise me. But so now we'll jump to the next topic. It will be less WWE, but I want to ask you guys, and this is one thing, this is WWE. I know this is AAA. I don't know if either of you guys got to see the match, the mask versus mask match that AAA had with it was LA Grant or El Americano versus the original El Americano, and the loser had to take their mask off. Obviously, Chad Gable was demasked. Surprise. But man, what a match that was! If you saw it, did either of you guys get a chance to see that match?
I did see the highlights of the match. Yeah,
It was awesome.
I actually saw it twice, not on purpose, but yeah, it was very good. It was nice to see them just let them kind of do their thing, and take some time. And it didn't really there were still some of those WWE style production elements that I am not a fan of. But the match itself, I mean, it was as good of a match as I've seen out of the companies under that umbrella in a very long time.
Yeah, it just seemed like one. I think Chad Gable, obviously he shows up Monday on Raw, and he's a face immediately after that match because of the promo he cut after the match, where he talked about how he originally put the mask on because he was making fun of Lucha Libre, but he talked about how he became a fan as he was working down in AAA and how his complete attitude changed, and he apologized to a lot of the wrestlers that had masks on, Penta, Rey Mysterio, all of them on this, this past Monday. And and now he's a super face. And it's like he got to strike while it's hot. And I think besides the fact he had an excellent match, I mean, he's an incredible wrestler, an incredible athlete, probably one of the best, if not the best wrestlers in the WWE right now, who doesn't need to say it to everybody to let them know that, you know. But I see some good things for him. I hope that that they keep working with him now that has happened. But they actually showed that match after Monday Night Raw ended. They said, well, we've got some time. We're going to show you this match. And so I sat and watched it after Raw, 2 hours and 15 minutes of Raw ended. And then they went right to the match. And it was I think it was a good 30-minute match. And it was well worth watching it without going to the WWE YouTube channel. So kudos to WWE for one, AAA, that's that. And I believe AAA is booked by The Undertaker, believe it or not. I've been hearing that, and a lot of people are thinking he's doing good things with that company. That's probably the best thing I've seen on, he's not Mr. Iguana, and he's not, I mean, yeah, it was all tongue in cheek in the beginning, but then Chad Gable got hurt, had a surgery, so obviously they had to make another Americano, and that's what they did. Then of course Chad Gable comes back from the injury, and I thought that it was a great storyline that actually had a finish for Chad at least. But kudos to WWE. I thought it was if you guys have not seen it, take a chance, look at it, watch it. It's just good, solid. Yeah, there was WWE elements in there. I get it, but yeah, when do you ever see a pay-per-view or a match that long anywhere in WWE? I mean, that's probably the length of a WrestleMania night if you added up all their different matches, or at least of the 4 hours of wrestling on pay-per-view, which would end up being about 45 minutes of wrestling. That was just an aberration for anything that they do. And I'm glad that they highlighted it, showed it to their 2.9 million people who follow Monday Night Raw too. So kudos to them. I thought that, that was something worth mentioning because I don't think we had talked about it. So
Yeah, I didn't see the follow-up, but it's refreshing to hear that a company immediately followed up on something big, as opposed to just shelving or losing momentum or whatever, like we've seen so many times in recent years. So
yeah,
that's the right way to go about it.
I saw some stuff online where I was getting the feeling maybe his contract was up and we wouldn't see him back, but no, they followed up. They followed up with him, and they did a great job. And so hopefully, maybe he'll get a big push out of this. He's definitely someone who should have a belt, and he doesn't need to be involved with, a tag, or maybe he could be with a tag. Who knows? But it was great. It was great because he came out and actually saved masked wrestlers on Monday night when they were being jumped by people. So, which was a lot of fun. So I'm going to move on from that. I might go right to the news now because I think we've talked about the Clash in Italy, Forbidden Doors coming up. Talked about that, El Grande Americano, the purchase. So let me get some news, and I definitely want to get some comments on the news because there was some interesting news. And let's talk about Maya World for a second. Maya World this past week filling in the Owen Hart Cup match, taking on Sky Blue. And I was shocked, to be honest with you, Maya World getting the win. And we kind of mentioned Maya World earlier just because of the connection I have with another announcer. But Rob, what'd you think of Maya World getting the win to finish up, or to finish, or at least not finish up because it was the second to last match on Dynamite this past week? What'd you think of that?
As soon as she was out there as the replacement or named the replacement for that night, I thought like maybe they're actually going to do this and give her the little upset. It's been a while since they've done that. And I mean, they haven't really done much with like Sky and Julia as of late, other than just kind of being Tekla's lackeys. But maybe that can change with that Survival of the Fittest TBS match coming up on Canada Day. But the match was good, and yeah, I mean it. They definitely was a way to get her established as a serious contender in the division. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see I'd like to see her and High-End get more matches as a tag. But it still doesn't really make sense to me that when they announced the tournament, that Suri was in it, and it was like there were 2 or 3 people that in that 8-woman tournament that were injured at the time the bracket came out.
Yeah.
I was just like, so we're just gonna hope they're ready in a couple weeks or whatever. Meanwhile, like the men's bracket was already like off and running and into the second round immediately and stuff. And so hopefully Suri gets to come in and do some other stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I think Athena and Maya World will be really fun. I'm sure Athena will do what she can to help Maya look good in that match to kind of continue this momentum. I don't expect Maya to win that match, but yeah, I thought it was good. There's a lot of other people on the roster that should be in consideration for that spot as well, but all things considered, with Maya's week and stuff, I give credit to Tony Khan for making that decision and giving her some good stuff this week on a tough week for her. So
yeah, they did mention she lost her brother earlier in the week, and yeah. Do you see any thoughts on that match?
Oh, I was as someone who's not entirely familiar with her work, I thought it was a great match. I was a little surprised at the outcome, although it just tells me that Sky Blue is never meant to win, no matter who her opponent was.
Yeah.
Which is okay. But the women's bracket and the women's tournament has been far more appealing to me than the men's, because the men's has just been way too predictable. So the women's is a bit refreshing this year.
Yeah, I would agree. And and we are coming to the end of the tournament. It's slowly getting here. We are going to see at Forbidden Door, we will be getting the men's Owen Hart Cup final, which we got Osprey versus Swerve Strickland. And we still have 2 more qualifying matches for the women's Owen Hart Cup final. And like Rob had said, we get that'll be going on this week. But yeah, I was trying to figure out how they were going to work the Owen Hart this year, where is it been the same every year that's where the matches, that's where the finals happen at Forbidden Door, but I couldn't remember last year. So I don't remember.
I think so. I think that's
what
how
did
it's always
I'm
been.
sorry.
I was wondering if the Owen Hart Cup final happens every year at Forbidden Door.
No, because they've done it before with it. Not every year. It may have been that case last year when Mercedes won. I'm trying to remember, but like previous to that, it was in Calgary when they were doing like
when they had a show
dynamites and stuff. When they'd go in there for the Stampede, so which they didn't do last year, I don't think. And then yeah, they don't have a show there scheduled this year, so. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a little bit of different timing on that. Another one of those things where like I appreciate that there were, at least on the women's side, the intention of having some Forbidden Door-esque wrestlers in the bracket that can justify it being a Forbidden Door match. That's, I mean, obviously not what we're gonna get. I mean, like Osprey and Swerve is not a Forbidden Door situation at this point, and what is it, Mercedes and Athena is not a Forbidden Door situation at this point, but well,
it's there. I mean, Hazuki has to lose to Mercedes Moné. Maya World has to lose Athena. We're going to get both those matches on this week's Dynamite. So
just for reference, for 2 years the finals were at Double or Nothing. 1 year was Dynamite finals, 1 year was Collision finals.
Interesting. Yeah. Very interesting.
Last year and the first year of the Owen were Double or Nothing finals.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's good to have the internet, So let me get through some of these news. So if you're going to watch AEW Collision tonight, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get Death Riders. That's Moxley, Pac, Castagnoli, Garcia, and Shafir versus the Shane Taylor Promotions, which they set up this past Wednesday. Shane Taylor, Carly
Not
Brown,
Stone Temple Pilots.
Stone Temple Pilots.
STP.
Yeah, STP. That's Sean Dean, Lee Moriarty, and Trish Adora in a 10-person street fight. Julia Hart versus Persephone in a survival of the fittest qualifying match. Kenny Omega and Bad Dude Tito. The Young Bucks, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson versus the Dogs, Dave Finley and Clark Connors. That's tonight. Now, I'm not going to tell you it was taped last week, but it was taped on Wednesday in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Thursday.
Yeah, or Thursday.
Yeah.
At Andrew J. Brady Music Center. Sorry. So that is a tape show. If you're going this week, if you're going to watch SmackDown, I've got a couple other SmackDown lineups. This is going to, SmackDown, I was looking at the numbers, the rating numbers, and they're pulling maybe 1 million. Now, that's a big drop. That is a huge drop on you. USA is not got to be happy. So that's why I'm thinking we're going to have this card the Friday night on SmackDown. We got Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the undisputed WWE Championship with Sami Zayn as special guest referee. After Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes had a nice little ring discussion last night that turned into a brawl. We got R-Truth and Damian Priest versus the MFTs for the tag titles. We have Charlotte Flair versus Liv Morgan in the Queen of the Ring semifinal. And we've got Carmelo Hayes versus Ricky Saints in a U.S. title elimination bout. So I'm thinking everything has meaning in the matches for SmackDown. And I think it's because the numbers are just terrible, which is a shame. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to go by ratings anymore, but I think USA has to. So this is going to be from Kansas City, Missouri. It'll be live on Friday. So a little update, and we haven't talked about this in a while, but the Janelle Grant lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE is moving to arbitration. And when I say those words, arbitration, what does that mean? It means somebody's guilty, but if we arbitrate it, we don't have to go to jail, and we don't have to pay that enormous amount that was originally asked. Judge Sarah F. Russell agreed to a joint motion that requested the change. The judge asked for a joint status report by July 11th. The move to private arbitration likely means we'll never know any specifics regarding any arbitrator's ruling or a settlement. Now, that to me is
Absolutely something an innocent person wants to have.
oh yeah, that to me, that's yeah. They always claim, well, I don't get time to go to court every 3 months. You're guilty and you're paying someone off. That's what it means to me. So, which is a shame because that happens. Who knows? I mean, I'm not going to say it, but man, Vince McMahon back in the WWE, it could happen.
Never. Not happening.
Not
Not happening.
it's been long enough, but their creative is so hurting. I mean, he could have some aspect in that company to help. So moving
Agree
on.
to disagree.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that have floated that idea. Okay.
And it's hard to know right now who is responsible for the terrible creative because from you hear different reports. It's Triple H or he's being hamstrung by TKO. So
Yeah. No, I get that.
someone's making it awful. No one's going to own up to it.
Yeah. It's, just some bad booking decisions. So, so we'll talk about some injuries for a couple of wrestlers. Rhea Ripley's status is currently up in the air due to an injury concern. During the June 12th edition of WWE SmackDown, the commentary team of Barrett and Tessitore revealed that Ripley is being evaluated for a knee injury that she reportedly suffered while competing in Italy. That would be a huge blow to WWE, especially since she just won the women's title in Clash in Italy. It may have even happened on that pay-per-view. I don't know. And another injury, MJF was recently injured. Sources indicate the injury occurred during his match with Rush on AEW Dynamite when Rush landed on MJF's knee, causing it to hyperextend. I don't know. I think that was when it was outside the ring when he was running into the wall. He had like the barrier he was leaning against, and Rush like kind of did a tumble into him. That may have been when it happened. I still have it on my DVR, so I'm going to go back and look at it. But that's one person you don't need hurt. And he's already announced for a match at Forbidden Door. So, I mean, that's maybe why we have, a triple, a 3-on-3 tag match. I'm just saying, just throwing that out
Six
there.
on six.
6-on-6.
So
Sorry.
It's a great way to protect someone.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Though 12 people in a standard one ring cage. What?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I just that match is not no I love Mark Briscoe, but I don't understand what we're doing or why that match is needed or I mean it just feels like obviously a place filler to me. To
They
kind of
put they he got over Pac this past week. I feel that Pac is in the same boat as Sky Blue sometimes,
yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for him because he's an excellent wrestler. So, I mean, he'll get his turn, but damn, it seems like lately he's just been, I mean, not that Briscoe's not a quality wrestler, but wow, okay.
I mean to me it's just
Feels like a lot
like
of the stuff with Briscoe was forced.
yeah. It feels a little bit to me like you just once again it's kind of like it's almost like the way MJF in a storyline sense feels about it is like a shoot like it's kind of like we've been there we've done this like what it like it just doesn't seem to me it just seems like all right well we need something for these people which often feels that way anytime they do a 8-man, 10-man, 40-man, whatever tag match. Like it's kind of just, all right, this is how we can get a bunch of people on the show, and this is what we can have MJF do in the meantime before he, then drops the title a month later to Omega or whatever. Like, but I mean, just I don't know. It's just kind of there, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, and he's working with a hyperextended knee, you know.
Which also means then that there would not be a world title match on Forbidden Door, which isn't I mean, if there's a pay-per-view that you don't necessarily need it's probably that, as long as you can figure out the rest of the card well enough. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of titles that nothing's happening with right now. A lot of them just kind of seem to be in a holding pattern until we get to building the all-in card. So
Very
we don't have a
interesting.
new TBS champion yet. Where are the tag team champions, etc. So
Okay. We should have a new TBS champion soon.
July 1st we will, yeah.
So
So the Wednesday right after that pay-per-view we will. Yeah.
So moving on the news, the winners of Charlotte Flair, Liv Morgan, and Io Sky, Raquel Rodriguez matches will compete against each other in the finals of the 2026 WWE Queen of the Ring tournament later this month at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. The winner of the tournament earns a shot at the women's title at SummerSlam 2026 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I'm not going to make any predictions of that, but I kind of think that they're building up Charlotte to win that, and we'll see. But this is only the fourth Queen of the Ring, I think. So still kind of a young tournament and everything. And we've got for the men's, we got Jey Uso versus Javon Evans and Obafemi versus Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and they're the winners of those matches. What will also be for the King of the Ring. Interesting. I've seen some funny videos of Obafemi's dance and then them mixing it in with like some other like scenes from the Guardians of the Galaxy and other movies and everything. So it's at least he's interesting, but it's like I don't get the strut. So that's me. Moving on. WWE issued a press release. They will have a Sunday night's main event. It'll be the first ever Sunday night main event, Sunday, September 6th, live from the State Farm Arena, Atlanta. And that the last time they were there for a Saturday night's main event, it was Goldberg's final match in WWE. So they're going to have a Sunday night main event. It'll be air exclusively on Peacock. I believe that's Labor Day weekend. I'm pretty sure. And if that's the case, then you get Monday off. You can watch, the 2 hours on Peacock or not. It's up to you. Let's see. Oh yeah, WWE changed and moved the pay-per-view around. They originally had scheduled Money in the Bank for August 29th, and just this past week they moved it to October 10th at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. So there you go, New Orleans. You don't get a WrestleMania, you get a Money in the Bank in October. And we owe you one still. I think. Uh, it's interesting is the announced event that it'll run against AEW's All In, or was originally supposed to run against the weekend of AEW's All In. So they're kind of relinquishing that weekend. I think that's interesting. Now All In will have no competition that weekend, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's going to be, I mean, the 28th coming up could be a real marathon day with was that Slammiversary followed by Forbidden Door back to back on the same day.
That's right.
That's a long day of wrestling.
Right, Slammiversary got moved. Did they get moved? Yeah, it got moved up.
It's at like 4 o'clock Eastern, I think.
Yeah,
3 or 4. Yeah.
Interesting. We'll see. I'm still waiting to see, the numbers get better for TNA being on a more easily to get network, but obviously the numbers are better than they were on Access TV. I still need to cancel it, by the way, but they've stayed pretty steady since they've come over, and it might have double the amount of viewers than they had when they were in Access TV, but there's no peaks yet. I mean, it's just, been around the same number every week ratings wise. So, maybe they'll sell some more pay-per-views,
Maybe they'll address their creative at some point.
Yeah, it could be a Tommy Dreamer. I think he's a guy, right? He's one of the guys in creative.
I know a lot of it was Delirious, but I don't know how much each person has a say in all of that, or who's making final calls, or if Carlos is vetoing things or whatever, but I don't know.
Carlos doesn't need to come on TV. We'll just say that. Speaking of TNA, they issued the press release on Sunday to announce the contractual release of Steve Maclin and Mila Grace. Maclin, of course, immediately announced on social media that he asked for his release, and hopefully, we talked about it earlier on the show. I think he'd be a great addition to AEW. So I'm just throwing that out there. Chelsea Green is officially making her move into the genre. Green will be appearing in an upcoming movie, Red Wedding. It's a film is to feature, I don't know, some people have never heard of. Rory Culkin I've heard of, though. Lauren Oliveira. Red Wedding is being written and directed by Josh Stolberg, who previously credits include Saw 10, Spiral, and Jigsaw. So here it's a very, very graphic horror movie. Kudos to Chelsea Green to get a part. Maybe we'll see her ripped apart. Who knows? Nikki Bella appears to be making steady progress in her recovery from ankle injury that has kept her sidelined since before WrestleMania 42. The WWE Hall of Famer recently shared a positive update on her rehabilitation, revealing that she has canceled a planned trip to Italy in order to remain focused on getting back to full strength. According to Bella, the decision ultimately felt like the right move as her recovery continues to trend in a positive direction. What she's saying there is she was going to go to WWE when they were in Italy and be with them, but she canceled that because they said, you better stay there and just get healthy. I'm guessing. I'm just kind of reading between the lines. The U.S. Department of Justice has approved Paramount's proposed acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery, paving the way for the massive deal to move closer to completion. This transaction, which is valued at approximately $110 billion, has faced scrutiny over potential antitrust concerns. With the merger, while the merger could still encounter legal challenges from state attorney generals, it remains on schedule to close in September. What does that mean for AEW? Well, industry observers expect Paramount's streaming platform, Paramount Plus, and WBD's HBO Max service to eventually be combined into a single streaming destination. Such a move could potentially affect how AEW programming is distributed and consumed in the future. Although no changes regarding AEW's current media rights arrangement has been announced, and AEW should be under contract through 2027, and they have an option year of 2028. So we'll see what happens, but keep your eyes on that. Here's one for you guys. I know you love. CM Punk has been temporarily taken off television, but you guys know that WWE did not have immediate creative plans for him. The expectation has been that he would return once the company was ready to begin his next storyline. The plan is for Punk to return as part of SmackDown brand. Whenever that is, who cares? But his last time he was in the ring, he said something about Money in the Bank or something like that when he was talking with Cody Rhodes. And that could be Punk's next appearance. So we know, when was that again? October. He might be off until then. And if you're a UFC fan tonight, or tomorrow, pardon me, UFC Freedom 250 is at the White House. You can watch that on Paramount Plus, I believe. And it's Sunday night. And I'm not going to mention any more about it. This
I'd
is
rather
neat.
get stabbed in the eyes.
Sorry. This is a neat. Yeah, there's no good match. Even if there was a good fight on it, I'm not watching it. So
We at least
Diamond
laugh that
Dallas-
it's partially sponsored by Bud Light.
Yeah, I just think, it's they're so restrictive of being on the White House property, and these guys come and build a $30 million complex to do this pay-per-view thing, and they're going to have 4,000 to 6,000 people in there watching. So, and they're doing a 2-day thing, and WWE people might be making appearance. I saw that was one reason why
Is
I brought it up.
President Doofus gonna ride in on like a golf cart with bulletproof glass around it, or how's his entrance gonna go?
Going to borrow the Pope mobile and come out. I have no idea. I'm sure he'll have a box seat and maybe he'll fall asleep. Who knows? Diamond Dallas Page could be headed back to WWE television in some capacity, with internal discussions recently taking place regarding a potential future appearance. Now, this is, Diamond Dallas Page went into the Hall of Fame in 2017. This is maybe just a one-night appearance. So just keep your eyes out for DDP. And that's all the news I got today. So it's nice to be back. I'm sorry we took a week off. I won't be taking any more time off. I've got nothing planned for the rest of the year. I say that now. Who knows? Changes happen. But I want to thank you guys, Rob, and thank you, DC, for coming on and holding the fort down, and and talking wrestling with me and everybody in the chat room. I appreciate that as well. You can catch any of our old shows at thepainclinic.net. They'll always be up there. I'll get it up eventually, and on iTunes. And we've got another 2 weeks to promote, to build up for Forbidden Door. What was it? Number 3? I can't remember. Is it 3 or 4? I remember what just shocking it was when it first happened. It's like, what? And now it's like, it's not as much of a what. So, and that being said, and goofiness all aside, we're going to end this and have a great day. And if you got time, I mentioned it earlier, we got roller derby today at the Dome Center at the Manette Hall, 4:00. And it'll be a blast. I cannot. And happy birthday, my daughter, one more time. And we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same